Crew! Crew! Bakit tahimik? It was Castor who broke the silence. At nakahinga ako ng maluwag nang tumawa si Brian. Dinumog doon sa dalawang lalaki at doon lang nawalang tingin sa akin ni Jericho. Did you notice the look on his eyes? Chismis kagad ni Kai pagkaupo sa tabi ko sa sofa. What look? I asked her. Mukha siyang iritado kay Brian at Blaze. Bulong niya kaya napailing ako sa kanila. Hindi, iritado lang yan kasi nandito ako. Sagot ko at bumuntong hininga. Loka? Napapikit ako ng bahagya akong tinulak ni Feby. Hindi kaya nagsiselos? Selos? Imposible yan. Malay mo, Kai whispered. Hindi pala salita yung pinsan ko, pero alam mo naman laki ng pinagbago niya nung naging kayo. Malay mo, he cannot remember you but his heart does. Baka sumakit ang puso. May amnesia siya. Walang sakit sa puso, Kairis? I pointed out. Oo, may amnesia lang siya pero may pakiramdam. Iwi niya. Pustahan pa tayo. Ilang araw lang umiiyak na yan sa selos. Gusto mo ikontrata natin si Blaze? Namilog ng bahagya ang mga mata ko. Napabaling ako kay Blaze na nakaupo roon sa gilid at nilalantakan ng mga prutas na dala ni Castor. Walang pakialam kung sa kapatid niya yon. Ano, game? Feby sounded excited when she noticed me looking around. Pero nung bumaling ako kay Jericho, nagulat ako na nakatingin siya banda sa amin. Castor and Brian are talking. Vanessa is in front of him but his eyes are on me. Slowly, I flashed a smile, hoping he would give me back one, but he did not have any reaction at all. Malamig ang mga matang umiwas sa Jericho ng tingin. Bumaling kay Vanessa kaya nahulog ang balikat ko. Ano? Pangulit ni Kai pero umiling lang ako ng bahagya. No, I answered. Kawawa naman ang asawa ko. I said at halos batukan ako ng dalawa habang dumadaing sa sagot ko. Oh, Feby, gawin mo nga ng monumento to dahil masyadong bayani. Ani Kairis, kaya't napailing-iling ako sa dalawa. Nung palapit ng dinner, nagpaalam silang paalis. Nauna si Vanessa ang humawak pa sa kamay ng asawa ko bago umalis. Hindi ako nilingon para magpaalam kaya salubong ang kilay ko. Did you even talk to Vanessa before allowing her to visit your husband? Feby emphasized while I'm walking them towards the hospital's parking. She talked to Tita Olivia. I answered. Nakausap ko rin siya saglit and she told me she'll just be here while Jericho's recovering. But Jericho thought she's still his girlfriend. Hindi niyo ba nilinaw pa? Kai asked and I sighed, shaking my head. We will tell him about that sooner, just not now. 2 araw pa lang si Jericho, simula na magising at baka mabigla pa. Of course, kahit naman walang maalalang asawa ko pa rin yan. Just a suggestion, Francesca. Ani Castor, kaya nilingon ko siya. Huwag mong sanayin si Jericho na hinahanap si Vanessa, and that woman too. I saw how touchy she is with your husband. It's bothering me. What did she do? I asked. Ramdam ko ang sikip sa dibdib ko. She was holding his hand, always. I could tell Jericho right away to not let that woman do it, but I remembered you saying not to force him. And anyway, so I stayed quiet. I will talk to her, sabi ko. I will make everything clear. You should, Brian said. And you say Jericho's remembering that days 5 years ago? I nodded and answered. Yeah, that's why he is like that. He said, kaya't nagtaka na ako. Why? Ano nangyari? Takang tanong ko. Jericho is the worst during those times, he said. Remember, Castor? Baling niya kay Castor na tumangurin. Yes, he was stressed not just in the hospital but with Vanessa. If I remembered it right during those times, his and Vanessa's relationships were in the rocks. That is when Vanessa starting to act up and force him to party where she is. Mainitin ang ulo ni Samaniego noon. Saka palasigaw, ni ayaw kaming samahan. He was trying to at least fix the relationship but it was not really working. But they seemed okay, I muttered, remembering Vanessa's laugh and his small smile while they are together. Vanessa is not acting up unlike what happened years ago, Annie Castor. So you definitely have to watch out for it, Francesca. Advance sorry for Jericho's attitude. He just turned worse during the memories he is remembering now. I was thankful because of their presence today. Nagpasalamat ako at inantay ang mga sasakyan nilang makaalis at saka lang ako pumasok ng ospital para asikasuhin ang asawa ko. I went to the nurse station first to remind them about my husband's meal at pagkapasok ng kwarto tahimik ng si Jericho. Ang malamig na mata nakatingin sa palabas sa TV. Hello, gutom ka na? I called him in my cheerful voice, trying to lift his mood up, but he did not even look at me. My heart felt like breathing and squeezing, but I did not mind it much, gaining more patience instead for my husband. Sabi ng nurse maya-maya, darating na yung pagkain mo. Antay na lang tayo, I said instead, smiling as I walked closer to him, settling on the chair beside his bed. Nasaan ang girlfriend ko? Malamig na tanong niya sa akin na walang pakialam na nakatingin pa rin sa telebisyon. Ha? Gulat kong tanong. I want my girlfriend. Please call Vanessa. Sabi ni Jericho at ipinikit ko ang mata. Gumagapang ang sakit mula sa tiyan ko, pataas sa dibdib ko pero kinalma ko. Okay lang, Francesca. Asawa mo yun. She left kanina? I answered thankful because I managed to hide the pain attached to it. What? Doon na siya lumingon kaya nagkatinginan kami. Vanessa left? I nodded. Di ba nagpaalam sa'yo? His brows furrowed. Di siya sumagot at sumandal sa pader. Umiigting ang panga. With his friends, I guess? Mahina yon pero dinig na dinig ko sa lapit namin. She was not even here when I need her. But I am here, I said out of nowhere. Huli na para mabawi dahil nilingon na niya ako. What? His voice is chilling. Sabi ko, nandito naman ako. Sinabi ko na rin. Ano ba kita? He asked again. The love on his black eyes before faded like it was never there. Right now, we're strangers. If I told you I'm someone special, would you believe me? I asked and his eyes wandered on my face but later on looked away. I don't know you. Sagot ni Jericho kahit nahulog ang tingin ko sa kamay ko. Sa dalawang singsing na nakalagay roon mula sa kanya. You really don't remember me? I asked and he did not answer. Madilim lang ang tingin niya sa pinapanood kaya nakagat ko ng labi. Jericho? Stop calling me Jericho, okay? Doon na niya ako nilingon. But I used to... Shut up, he said. I am tired hearing your voice. Napatitig lang ako sa kanya. Nangilid na naman ang luha pero nakita ko, bumukas ang pinto. Pumasok doon na nurse na may dalang maliit na palanggana. She smiled when she saw me so I flashed a smile back, walking towards her to take it. Are you sure you can manage, ma'am? She asked humbly and nodded. Yes, don't worry, he is my husband, I said in a small voice. And I'm a doctor. I can handle this. Thank you, ma'am, she said, and when she left, marahan ako naglakad patungo sa asawa ko. Jericho, punasan muna kita, I said. Naupo sa gilid niya para abutin ang kamay, pero mabilis niyang inilayo nang mahawakan ako. Tila napapaso. Stop touching me, he grated his teeth, stopping me from my tracks. Pupunasan lang kita, sabi ko. Muling sumubok hawakan ng kamay niya, pero inilayo niya yun sa akin. I said, stop touching me. His voice growled. Where's the nurse? Bakit ikaw ang nandito? Sino ka ba, ha? I am a doctor, I said instead. And I can do what she could. Call Vanessa? He demanded. Wala si Vanessa. I said, call her. He explained at pinigit kong mata, humugot ng hininga. Kinalma ang sarili. She left, okay? Paliwanag ko. She is busy. She has other works to do and we cannot wait for her. Nandito naman ako Anong pinagkaiba? It's her. And you're just... His forehead creased. You! Parang may dumagan sa dibdib ko roon. Pero kinalma ko ang sarili. I am a doctor, Jericho. She's not here so I should do this. I don't need you, he exclaimed, startling me. Jericho? I sighed and took his hand. Come on, pupunasan lang kita. I was shocked when he moved his hand away from me. Sa biglaang galaw niya hindi sinasadya na nahawi ang maliit na palanggana kaya tumapon iyon sa hita ko. Napatayo ako sa gulat. Natigilan din siya at napasulyap sa akin. I noticed something on his eyes, looking shocked for what happened too, kaya tumikim ako. Ayos lang, I said. Mabilis tumayo, nagtawag ng maintenance para papunasan ang nabuo sa tubig at kinuhang bag ko para sa bagong damit. While I was doing that, I was aware Jericho's been watching my every move, pero hindi ako lumingon. Dumiretso na lang sa banyo para magpalit. I sighed hard but could not stop myself from crying. My tears fell. Habang nakatitig sa salamin, kitang-kita ko ang paghulog ng mga luha sa pisngi. I looked stupid and weak but I have to be strong. Di na lang kami simpleng mag-boyfriend ni Jericho. He is already my husband so I have to take care of him, no matter what. I washed my face to hide the fact that I cried and changed my clothes. Sinigurado kong maayos ang itsura ko pagkapasok sa kanyang kwarto at nakita ang tingin niya kaagad. Ramdam na ramdam ko rin ang sakit na naririnig mula sa mga salita ni Jericho, pero mas malakas ako roon. They are just words, and I am Francesca. Francesca's POV. It wasn't my husband. Jericho would never. He would never say that if he remembers me. Hindi niya lang ako maalala, yun lang yun. You should calm down, Francesca. Mahal na mahal ka ni Jericho mo. They brought a new one, he said. Napansin ko kaagad ang banyong bagong maliit na palanggana roon sa gilid ni Jericho, kaya lumapit ako roon bago bumaling sa kanya at ngumiti. Tatawag lang ako ng nurse para dito. Sabi ko tumalikod para magtawag sana, pero agad natigilan na maramdaman ang hawak sa pulsuhan ko. Pumipigil para makaalis. I immediately glanced back and saw him looking at me. Ikaw na. He cleared his throat. Ha? Nalaki ang mata ko sa gulat. Ikaw na ang magpuna sa akin, he said at natulala ako sa gulat ng una, pero mabilis tumango at naupo sa kanyang tabi. My heart was pounding quick. Nanginginig pa at ang kamay ko ng pigain ng maliit na bimpo at inabot ang kamay ni Jericho para punasan. Unlike earlier, he did not push my hand back. Gently, I cleaned his arms and hands. Tahimik lang siya habang ginagawa ko yun. Hindi ako pinagtutuunan ng pansin pero sapat na yung mahawakan ko siya ng ganito. Pwede ko bang I trailed off, watching his gaze shifting at me. Punasan yung leeg mo? I was already anticipating a violent reaction from him, but luckily, he nodded. Masayang masaya ako. My hands were shaking while I was cleaning his neck. I can see the small scratch he still had because of the accident, kaya maingat ko siyang pinunasan. Mukha, I said, caught his cheek so he could look at me. Di ko si Jericho tinitigan habang marahang pinupunasan ko ang kanyang panga at pisngi. Napapangiti pa dahil sa visuals ng asawa ko. Gwapo pa rin kahit may sugat ang Jericho ko. I said nonchalantly but stopped when I realized that. I lifted my gaze and when our eyes locked, it felt like the world stopped. His jet black eyes were looking at me. His forehead creased a bit. I noticed how the strange look in it faded as he stared at me. My heart pounded loudly. Naiwan ang kamay ko sa kanyang pisngi. Di maputo lang tinginan namin yon. We suddenly heard a knock. Napatalon ako at sabay kaming nag-iwas ng tingin. Bumaling sa pintuan kung nasan naroon ang naghahatid ng pagkain niya. Kinuha ko yun at kagad na si Kaso. I sat beside him on the bed and I noticed him glancing briefly, pero walang sinabi. Nakatingin lang sa pinapanood. Wow, it's beef! I said while glancing at the food. You like this, right? I asked and his gaze went down from the foods from my face. No, he answered pero ngumiti lang ako. Marahang inayos ang tray. Take it out. I'm not hungry. Pagsusungit na naman ni Jericho. Pero nung naalala ko ang titigan namin kanina, binaliwala ko na. No, kakain ka, Mr. Yellow, I said. Nilagay ang kanin at ulam sa kutsara at iniangat para ipakain sa kanya pero nakita ko ang titig niya. What? He asked. Sabi ko kakain ka na. I said and moved the spoon but he remained looking at me with confusion. No, what did you call me? He asked and I nodded. Remembering it, ah, Mr. Yellow? I asked and smiled. Why? Why would you call me that? He asked. We weren't close, woman. Whoever you are. Di mo sure? I smirked. Hinawakan ng panga niya parang umanga at kainin ang binibigay kong pagkain. No. Isa, din Jericho? I hissed at napipilitang napanganga si Jericho. Kinain ang bigay ko. Tsaka anong di kilala? Ilang beses na nga ako nagpapakilala sa'yo. I don't know you, he snorted. Francesca nga kasi, I said. Ang reyna ng dilibdibang lupa ng San Isidro. Na ngayon reyna rin ng puso mo. Ay, sinundot ko siya. Shit, he cursed and glared at me. You're corny, woman. Natawa ko. I remembered our first meeting habang nilalagay kong pagkain sa kutsara at nilalapit sa kanya. Corny ka dyan. Tuwang-tuwa ka nga sa corny na to eh. Tawa ko at sinubuan siyang muli pero ngumiwi lamang siya. Shut up, he hissed, still munching on his food. Francesca Karingal. Tumikim akong bigla. I mean, Francesca Karingal? Babe na lang for short. Bigla si Jerichong nabilaukan. Nanlaki ang mata ko at dali-daling inabot ang tubig. Santissima, sorry! I gasped, watched him as he drank the water and after that, glared at me. May battery ba yung bibig mo? He asked me coldly after drinking. Bakit? I asked. Mike's smile widened. Anong bakit? He asked. Aba malay ko sa'yo. I asked in confusion. Ikaw tong nagpe-pick up line, tapos akong tatanungin mo? What? He asked. Kunot na ang noo. Sabi ko, nagpe-pick up line ka, kaya't sabi ko, bakit natigilan ako? Ay, hindi ka ba nagpe-pick up line? Where do I get myself into? He closed his eyes. Namilog ang mata ko at biglang napatawa. OMG, hindi nga. Natawa ako. Sorry, hindi na. Pero bakit mo kasi ako tinatanong kung may battery bang bibig ko? Aba, ay malay ko bang hindi pick up line yon? Because you are loud and annoying, he said. Your voice keeps on playing inside my head. It's irritating. Grabe naman palang alindog ko. Tawa ko at umiling siya. Iritadong inabot ang tubig. Stop giggling, woman, he said, drinking his water while glaring. Anong woman? I'm Francesca or Cheska. In short, future mo. I winked. Ay, hindi na pala future. Pinalo ko siya pero biglang nabuga na naman ang iniinom kaya napanganga ko. You! Sorry na. Baka pwede naman natin pag-usapan to, Iceman? I asked at nang sama na ako ng tingin. Nang tuluyan pinakita ko sa kanya, nagsizipper ako ng bibig. I remained quiet while happily feeding him. Di naman siya nagrereklamo kaya masayang-masayang puso ko. Ayoko na, he said and shook his head after a few moments kaya bumaling ako sa pagkain niya. Ang dami pa oh, busog ka na? He nodded. Pero sayang, I trailed off. Then eat it, he said, glancing at me with his poker face kaya tamango ako. Okay, I said and ate his food at nakita kong pamimilog ng mata niya. What the? He exclaimed. I was just kidding. Naka-poker face magjo-joke? Pangit mo ka bonding, babe? Ngisi ko at pinakitang sinubo kong kutsarang pinagkainan niya. I ate using that, woman. He pointed a spoon. And so? I asked. Makapagsalita, kala mo hindi naglalaplapan. Bulong ko sa hangin. What? Wala. Ngiti ko. Sabi ko ayos lang, di naman ako maarte sa kutsara. I said and he sighed. Naiiling na bumaling pabalik sa pinapanood kaya nangingiting kumain ako sa tabi niya. Nakikinood din. Wala naman siyang sinabing kung ano. He just let me eat his food and we watched the sitcom and the television, chuckling at the funny scenes. Bagay sila, I said, pointing at the television before glancing at them. Pero para naman akong natuklaw ng ahas nang makita na nakatitig na siya sa akin. When I saw his black eyes glancing gently at me, it was as if the pain was washed out and replaced with love and peace. From my eyes, his gaze fell on my lips and when he lifted his hand and touched my cheek, my heart quickened. I was hyperventilating, lalo pa na medyo lumapit ang ulo niya. I found myself closing my eyes. Nang dumampi ang daliri niya sa gilid ng labi ko, mas kinabahan ako at pinikit naman ng mariin ang mata. Waiting until his lips touched mine but moments later and none came. Naramdaman ko ang pitik sa noo ko kaya nagmulat ako at nahuli ang ngisi niya. You are a messy eater, woman, he said and my mouth parted. Akala ko, filingera? He smirked, chuckling a bit and my eyes widened, amazed, hearing him laugh again and it sounded like a voice from heaven. He stopped upon realizing it. Nakita ko ang paglalaho ng maliit na ngiti sa kanyang labi nang maabutan ng titig ko sa mga mata niya at maya-maya pa, kumunot ang noo niya at napapikit. He cursed and touched his head. Nagulat ako. Mabilis akong napatayo at ibinaba ang plato. Mabilis siyang inabot pero tinulak niya ang kamay ko. Don't touch me, he sighed. Bakas ko ang sakit sa kanyang mukha. Jericho? Kinakabahan na ako. Are you okay? May masakit ba sa'yo? Get out! Mariing sabi niya. Mas sinapo ang ulo kaya't nangilid na ang luha ko sa kaba. Jericho! I tried touching him. Sana masakit? But he pushed me. Napasinghap ako nung tumama ako sa may lamesa sa ginawa niya. Jericho? My voice cut off when his annoyed eyes stared at me. Get out! He pointed the door. Bakas na rin ang hirap sa mukha. Jericho! I said get out of my room. I don't want to see you. His voice roared and my heart ached. Hurt upon hearing how the voice who once told me his vows ended up raising it while pushing me away. Jericho! My eyes flicked open when I heard him spoke. Sa pagmulat kagad kong nahuli ang itim niyang mata na nakatitig sa akin. I hummed. Confused at first but then, Jericho? I called. Tunog nagbabanta sana, pero malamyos na ungo lang ang naging dating. I said, he whispered, his lips landing on my neck, kissing it briefly and teasingly. I said you smelled like me. Mas nag-init pa ang pakiramdam ko. Humawak ako sa marasa ng fiancé ko at unti-unting inangat ng kanyang ulo para magkatinginan kami. Don't you like it? I asked. Namumungay na ang mga mata. I used your shower gel? Bulong ko pang medyo natatawa. No need to use my shower gel, babe, he said. You can just wear me, so you would smell like me. Kakapit na lang ako sa buong araw. Doon na ako natawa. Nakita ko ang titig niyang unti-unting gumagaan. Mas inayos niya ang pagkakaupo ko sa kanyang hita at mas sumawak sa likod ko. Jericho, lumalandi ka na lalo. Di ka naman ganito ka-intensa. Reklamo ko na pero natutuwa rin talaga sa sobrang clingy niya. You are to blame, he said. Bumaba ang tingin sa may dibdib ko nang maramdaman ang pagkalas ng butones ng damit ko. You made me this way? Jericho, I warned. Hinawakan ng kamay niya pero hinuli niya lang yon at nilagay pa sa batok niya. Let's have a quickie, he whispered and continued unbuttoning it. Jericho, come on babe. We haven't seen each other that much this past 3 days. Magkaiba ang schedule natin. Ngayon na nga lang tayo ulit. I love you. Come on. Lambing pa niya at napaar ko na lang katawan ko nang ibaba niya sa isahang galaw ang brassiere ko at sinakop ang dibdib ko. Jericho, did you lock the door? I asked but he only hummed, his fingers gently lowering on my pants. Tinatanggal ang butones nito. Jericho? I called again pero nawala na sa sarili ko at mas napasandal lang sa lamesa niya. Tinarama ang bawat haplos ng daliri niya sa akin. A few moments later, kahit gaano ko man pigilan ang sarili kong rumupok kay Falcon, mas malakas pa rin ang laban ng karupukan. I found myself moaning when I reached my release. Hirang-hina akong napatitig kay Jericho na mukha pang nanalo sa loto habang nakatitig sa akin. Ang daliring ginamit niya para pasihin ako, unti-unting nilapit niya sa abi. Falcon, wala ka na bang pasok? Baka may pasyente ka pa or gagawin? I asked and his forehead creased before shaking his head. My duty is done. That's why I am here, he said. Wala ka ng pasyente? I asked again and he nodded, looking impatient now. Nothing. Stop talking, Francesca. Let's have a quickie. He commanded like a king at bigla akong tumayo sa hita niya, kaya mas bumusangot siya. Francesca, hari ka? I raised my brow and he sighed. Licking his lip, he shook his head. Come on, babe. Don't you miss me? What are you doing, Francesca? He growled at shock when he saw me kneeling in front of him. You are a king now. Let your queen kneel and serve you. I smiled teasingly and I caught how shocked his reaction was. Namilog ang mata niya at nakita ko ang marahas niyang paglunok nang abutin ko ang zipper ng pants niya at marahang ibinaba. Babe, he said in a low voice, trying to calm himself down, but when he saw me, winked at him, he lost it. Francesca, he commanded at napatawa ko na may abutin siya sa lamesa niya. Maya-maya'y sinasakop ng buhok ko, talian. Kitang-kita kong paglitaw ng ugat sa kanyang leeg nang simulan kong gawin ang plano ko. I was doing my very best to take him and make him happy when we heard a knock. Doc Falcon? Good evening po. Ito na yung full files galing sa Pedza Ward. Isang boses at tunog ng pagbukas ng pinto. Naitulak na ako ni Jericho sa ilalim ng lamesa, kaya bumangga ako sa ilalim. Kasabay ng pag-abante ng swivel chair para itago ang hita sa ilalim ng lamesa.